Now there's going to be a lot happening in this episode, so I'm going to have a timestamp so you can feel free to skip ahead to the chapter that you want to watch. First of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about my bare surroundings. There's actually not a lot of plants here because I literally just moved the couch and everything back yesterday. So the house has been on renovation for the last 3 weeks, completely got renovated. They opened up the walls and looked at the pipes. There were a lot of pipes that were not installed properly. They were leaking. There were pipes that were cut previously and the worker just tried to cover it up with some cement. So there was a lot of problems with the construction, but the developer did come in on their dime to fix the problem. So I'm grateful for that. And in the period of time, I was very depressed, but I actually learned a lot about housing construction. I saw the inside of my walls. I take it as a chance for me to get an informal degree on construction and how things are built. At the same time, I've also been upgrading my skills on video editing, and I've been traveling around the neighborhood, trying out different coffee shops, restaurants, and things like that so I can absorb the energy of my neighborhood. I've also started to do a bit of TikToking, so feel free to follow my TikTok account. I'm gonna link that over here. So I've been starting to learn TikTok to talk about lifestyle, sustainability, and just living in my neighborhood, because I do find this neighborhood to be very enjoyable, and it's also very sustainable because it is a satellite city and a lot of corporations are being set in this city and they're bringing a lot of workforce, and there's a lot of cool shopping concepts and lifestyle concepts coming into this neighborhood that is very modern, and it's very unlike Jakarta, which is downtown. It's about an hour, maybe 2-hour drive if there's traffic from where I live, but that city is become dirty, polluted, noisy, unsustainable, and it's getting flooded year after year. So I'm a very, very strong proponent on satellite cities like this. So I'm going to be doing a lot of content on that. So yeah, sorry to digress a bit, but that is what's happening. I've been fighting to make this house livable, and it's starting to become a bit more livable. I'm starting to make contents now. The second point is that someone reached out to me from Iran because something terrible has happened there, because their internet has been silenced completely. So they asked for my help to be the voice of the women of Iran, and I promised her I would do it. So I'm going to do a quick shout out. This is not a political channel, but it is completely wrong to take away the rights of women, to inflict harm and damage on other human beings. The same things are happening with the Ukrainian and Russian war. North Korea just fired a missile over Japan, and the tension of China and Taiwan is still ongoing. And yesterday I was reading a news that in Thailand, a man slaughtered many children and some teachers in a day care center. So there are a lot of strange things happening. There's a lot of droughts, a lot of floodings are happening in Jakarta. Yesterday we had a record flooding in the Jakarta area. There are a lot of traffic and a lot of people are suffering. So it is a strange time indeed for everybody, and somehow that made my problems seem quite small. Of course, when I mentioned my problem in the last episode, some of you guys jumped in with your personal stories, your struggles. And not to say that we should compare problems. It's irrelevant to compare our problems with one another. We all have different journeys, we all have different challenges, but it does give me perspective when I read about other people's struggles, that maybe my problems aren't that big. And one of you even commented, just a very short comment that says, "That's life, full stop." And that really hit me hard. I mean, thank you for giving it to me straight, but yeah, I guess having all these challenges with moving, and I should be grateful, and I think I am. So I'm becoming maybe a little bit more calm, although I still have a lot of unpacking. I have a lot of cleaning to do. The place is covered in dust. So I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm grateful for the work, just so you know. All right, I'm gonna just dive into today's topic because it is quite important. It's something that I realized recently. It's a self-realization, self-assessment. But basically, I have been hoarding plants, and maybe that is sort of the source of my stress and unhappiness for the long time. So I have actually a list of notes. So sometimes if I'm reading from my phone, I hope you don't mind it, because I've actually filmed this twice. This is my second attempt at an introduction. And the first one, I had missed so many good points that I wish I'd spoken, so I decided to just refilm all together. And let's just start with what is hoarding. So the definition of hoarding is that it's a persistent difficulty discarding or parting with possessions because of the perceived need to save them. That really hit me really hard, because it is describing exactly what I have, my attitude towards not just plants, but also a lot of my personal belongings. I realized that after moving to this house, there are boxes of things that I've never opened in a year since I was in my rental home. and I wouldn't mind it if I parted with them. Like, they didn't really bring me any joy. They were giving me a lot of clutter, and the effort of moving them and trying to find places to store them, it's a little bit stressful, to be honest. So I have actually started decluttering a little bit, and I have actually selected some of my clothes to be given to the workers that came in here, because a lot of the workers actually came in here and some of them worked overtime, and they basically had only clothes on their back. A lot of them came in wearing the same clothes day after day. It's kind of like a video game where everybody's coming in and wearing the same outfit. So I gave them some of my clothes, and then they were so happy. They were very excited about it, and they wore the clothes the next day. And when I saw that, I went and picked out more clothes to give them. That was the best feeling ever. So yeah, this experience has taught me a lot of positive things as well. It's opened my eyes to the work culture in Indonesia, as to why this country maybe it's not as developed, what are missing in some of our work ethics and things like that. Oh my God, so I have to re-record this portion. I finished the introduction actually, but the phone ran out of storage. So with filming in 4K, it does take a lot more storage. So yeah, I just need to figure out how to go around that. But anyways, to continue on, how or why I hoard. This is a self-diagnosis. So basically, I believe that I might have a bit of an ADD. I have a hyperactive brain. I'm always designing things in my head. This makes me a really, really good designer. But I remember when I had only maybe 20 to 50 plants in my earlier journey, I was a helicopter plant parent. So I would look at them very closely. I would stare at the leaves. I would look at the soil. I would overwater it. I would give them overcare. So this is maybe a problem, but it's also something that has empowered me, because I'm constantly trying to learn new skills. I'm constantly curious about things. I'm always like learning new skills. Like, oh my God, hang on, why are you leaning forward? Okay. Now this one's falling over too. Okay, now, so new knowledge, new things happening around me does quench my thirst for understanding things around me, my living world, my living environment. So I don't think this is something that I need to go to a psychiatrist or get a medication, but it's not. I consider this a blessing actually. And another thing is that I actually really love to study the plants, propagate them, find out where the new shoots are coming from, how to grow them in different environments. And then when those new baby leaves come out, oh, that really renewed my hope in humanity, in having a beautiful tomorrow, because this presents an endless possibility. When you have new growth, this will turn into a whole new plant that will someday outlive us. Their kids, their babies will live on after us. We can gift them, we could sell them, we could swap them, or we could just have them lush in our home. We can style them different ways. I love trying out different pots, different methods of displaying them. And again, I really love to have multiples of the same plant and try to have them grown in different conditions. What if I watered it more? What if I give it more light? What if I had it outdoors? What if I had it indoors? So all these things have nourished my ADD tendencies, and in a way it's made me a good plant parent. I have learned a lot about plant care very quickly in a span of I think 4 years now. So I feel blessed, but at the same time it's also my downfall. And I guess the next reason is probably the fear of losing them. So I've been propagating, creating duplicates, because I'm thinking that if something happened to the parent plant, I have something to fall back onto. But that is actually a really bad snowball effect, because when you have so many duplicates, you can't give them quality care. So a lot of them are actually probably suffering quietly. And this means that I really want to propagate more, to grow even more, because I now need more insurance. So this is a really bad snowball effect. I should in fact probably just have the one, maybe at most two of the same plant, and just be on top of it and just appreciate it, grow it really well, instead of focusing on having so many around. Let's be completely honest. I'm being brutally honest with you guys. And I know that some of you probably, humans, we have this tendency to be greedy, right? So I wanted to have more plants around. That's basic human instinct, and not just for my own sometimes. I do want to have a lot of the same plants around. It brings me comfort, joy, and endless possibilities, but also to sell them. So this is why I'm really grateful to have closed down the store. So I still am getting DMs, by the way, from people asking me if I export, but I've closed down the store. It's done. So that's going to be very good for my mental health. when I no longer have to consider plants as a source of income, as a source of expense. Because back when I had the nursery, I had overhead expenses, I had employees. So those things I had to think about when I'm propagating plants, but now I don't. I really can live with them sustainably, peacefully. I can become a collector purely without thinking about having to multiply them and profit off of them. And the last reason I can think of is that some of these plants were actually gifted by people, and when I receive gifts from people, I feel pressured to keep them alive and to grow them out, even though some of them have brought me no joy, or some of them may have been challenging to grow in my conditions. It is the same thing with my personal belongings. I actually have boxes of things that are gifted from people over the years, birthday presents, going away presents, and things like that that I've kept around. But they have brought me no joy, and they have taken up space, and especially since I've been moving quite a bit lately, they have been a bit stressful for me to move around and find places, find corners to hide them in. And actually, if you Google up hoarding, you'll notice that some people have it much worse than I do. Some of them even cannot let go of magazines and newspapers and things like that, so their whole house is just covered wall to wall and things. I'm not to that level, but to a certain degree, I feel like I have this tendency to not want to let go of things that other people have gifted me, and that I need to start being on top of. I need to start saying no to things and just to let go of things, because those things are not necessary in my life. So I really thank you guys for those gifts. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna start letting some of those go. Now, it's worth mentioning why hoarding is bad. First of all of us have limited space, so having clutter is actually stressful. It's not visually pleasing for the eye. So we actually need to learn to start opening up our space for more possibilities, or opening up to more negative space, and potentially have new room to explore new species, at least in my case. And every human beings have a set limit of how many plants they can care for in a meaningful way. For some of you, it may be 10 plants, maybe because you have kids, families, pets, work, travel, or whatever. And for me, I don't know what my limit is exactly, but I'm now sitting at around, I don't know, I haven't counted my house plants, somewhere between 500 to maybe 1,000. I don't know, this is a random ballpark. There's no way for me to count them. But my threshold has passed a long time ago. I have way too many plants that I can care for and observe individually. I've been kind of carrying them the same way. I've been fertilizing them, spraying them down, and things like that. So that is not good. I actually need to start limiting how much I have and understanding the boundaries. Dedicate some time for other things like my family, my social life, maybe traveling, going on journeys. I'm going to Thailand again, Chiang Mai, at the end of the month to look at some really cool plants there, and botanical gardens and things like that. And when you have so many plants around, when you're spreading yourself so thin, you're not really giving them the quality care that they deserve in a way. And the worst, oh my God, I sometimes forget or lose plants. Let me explain. When I'm traveling, when I'm looking at other plants, I would think, I have that plant, but I haven't seen it in months. I literally can't remember where I put it. And then sometimes I would just, during my plant care, like my weekly plant routine or whatever, I would see just empty pots of plants, and I wouldn't even remember what lived in that pot. That is just how bad my collection got. I was purchasing plants, I was being gifted plants, I was swapping plants, and it brought joy at the moment, receiving plants and opening them up and kind of placing them where you think they should be happy. But after a while, you have so many that you can't remember them, and you miss out on new leaf growth, new flowers, new blooms, and you even miss out on the death as well. So hopefully by changing, I can start appreciating the little things that matter, the beautiful process of keeping plants alive. So what am I gonna do about it? So in this next segment, I'm going to be giving you a tour. I'm going to walk around my collection to show you my thought process of why I kept them and how I'm going to purge them, put them up for plant swap, or just to give them to neighbors. And then I'm going to have some self-control and discipline moving forward, having self-realization that I cannot keep so many plants alive. I'm going to still propagate because that is something that brings me joy. I love to study plants and I love to film these contents for you guys, but I need to be mindful about where these cuttings are going because I no longer have that store. Although maybe once a year I might do a purge event. Where I let go of some of the cuttings and maybe have a little bit of extra income to buy more plants. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to let that idea go because that is not a healthy way to think about it, but it is the one way to grow your plant collection sustainably, just to keep cuttings and then swapping or upgrading your collection. So we might talk about that in another episode in the future. And you also need to let go, like learn that whenever a plant is not doing well, it's suffering, and you tried and it's still suffering, maybe it is time to just let them go instead of just holding on, keep propagating them. Or maybe I could just replace that plant, because some of the plants that are already unhealthy, if you keep propagating those unhealthy plants, unhealthy cuttings, the chances of it surviving or thriving is actually very, very low. So I'm really spreading myself a little bit too thin here by just rescuing the same plant over and over again, where I could have just let it go, bought a new healthy specimen, support the local plant industry, and maybe that plant would have a better chance of survival and get studied better and then propagated for you better in this channel. And finally, this is not going to be easy, but I'm going to have to learn to let go of plants that have not sparked any joy. And this is not going to be something I can change overnight. There are some plants in my collection that I walk by them and I actually feel nothing, but I do water them often. I give them the same care as I do with my expensive plants. This is the problem with me. Like, I don't see value, I don't see the price, I don't see I don't place one living thing above others in terms of importance. I kind of treat everybody equal. So that is not good. And for some of these plants that have really brought me no excitement, it's got no value to me in a way that maybe I have propagated it before, I have mastered the care, I have done a video of it, maybe it is time to let them go. But this is, again, not easy. And if you have any other suggestions of what I could possibly do, or if you have any experience with hoarding or any friends or family with this issue as well, feel free to comment down below. I would love to learn more. But without further ado, let's get this tour started. Here is the first contender. It's a Philodendron Pink Princess. I also do want to preface by saying that I have actually given hundreds and hundreds of plants to my neighbors already and my dad's business, because those are pretty clear cut. Those are definitely duplicates that we cannot sell anymore. And then I'm also posting this week posts where people just can come into my clearance, to my only plant store. There are about 100 pots of plants there, random pots that are going to be on sale, but I'm not going to assign the price, so people pay whatever they want for it, because I would otherwise have thrown them away. So I hope that they can find better homes, find people that can take care of them moving forward. But these plants that we see today in this episode are going to be ones that I have dilemma with, those that exhibit really, really strong hoarding behavior, such as this one here. So basically this had a lot more vines, but then I cut them off and propagated them in water, and I'm thinking I may actually even throw those ones away too. So this is going in the bin. All right, and here are the top cuttings. Look at how dusty they were. They were in here during the renovation, so they're covered in dust. Some of them had a little bit of pink left, but I think I'm really just gonna let this one go. I'm gonna chuck this as well because there's just too many plants going on. This one here, this is a Epipremnum pinnatum variegated, and look at how much dust there is on the leaves. This is a cutting that I chucked in here right before the renovation. Look at the roots. So it was about 3 weeks ago. And it's actually a decent cutting. It's got a lot of leaves that were kind of spoiled, a little bit spoiled. I think they were not happy during the renovation. So I guess I'm gonna let go of this one, even though it looks good in a jar, but the leaves are just not attractive and it's suffering a bit. And the newest leaf, let me look at it. It's like mostly white. Oh, it's got some green on it. But yeah, I'm gonna chuck this away because it just didn't look so good on here. This is a Florida Ghost, baby Florida Ghost. It had only a few leaves when I got it about 6 or 7 weeks ago, but it put out a new leaf since then. Love this pot, love the way it looks. It's architectural. Unfortunately, I may have to let this go. Oh, and I wanted to mention that there are a lot of plants coming in because I'm closing down the nursery for sure. A lot of plants that are unsold are going to be coming here, which is not really helping with this video. But yeah, a lot of plants are coming in, so I am going to be letting this one go. I think I will probably give this one to one of my neighbors. Now here's a Philodendron tenui. I have an exact duplicate already on my green wall, but I brought this one here because it was unsold. People didn't buy them during the export event. So I have two. This is my second one. I think the best course of action for this might have been to just post it up for swap, because some of these plants will be put up for swap. I haven't done a plant swap in a long time, but I think this is a very good idea. It does need a pole though. It's trying to climb onto something, so I'm gonna give it that before I do the swap. Got a very dirty philodendron melanochrysum here, and it's doing really well, even though it's a bit dusty. I do have to clean this off because the workers have been working in here. I'm so sorry, but there are some cuttings upstairs. All right, so there are these two guys here, and I don't know what to do with them. I really don't. They used to be difficult to find. People used to go after them. They would cost, I think, around, for a cutting like this, about 400,000 Indonesian rupiah at some point. And then it was actually around, what, 150 before the pandemic, but now it's a lot less than that. So now I have these that I think, you know, I've been watering them, I've been checking on them, and I don't want to spend this much time on these plants anymore. But I may want to keep one and try to grow it indoors. So that's one of my bad habits. I try to grow multiple plants because I wanted to see how they respond to different conditions, but it is not good because that is stopping me from enjoying life and from trying to acquire more plants that bring me more joy. So I really am giving myself a break here by letting one of them go. This one, I guess. I don't know, this one might, if I put it on a swap, the problem is that a lot of plant parents here already has this. But if I give it to my neighbors, this is actually a very difficult, is this variegation? No, it is dirt, sorry. This is dirt. If I give this to one of the neighbors, they may kill it. This is not the easiest plant to care for. It does need to climb. And then they may lose confidence in plant care, so I don't know what to do. But I'm leaning towards giving it to my neighbors, I guess. This here, this is a baby philodendron sharonii. I've got one big one that is climbing up the wall downstairs. But yeah, I guess, I don't know why I've been hanging on to this, but I guess I'm just gonna put it up for a plant swap. Back here, I think these are all melanochrysums. Some of them may have rotted. I don't know, yeah, some of them have rotted. Sorry, that's embarrassing, but I'm gonna take this off and put them away so I don't have to look at them again. This one, this is a Monstera elbow. It's put out white leaves after white leaves. Let me check the petiole in the back. There's a little bit of green, but I'm not hopeful that it will give me any more green leaves. I'm gonna let this one go. I'm gonna chuck this away because imagine watering this every day, but being a little bit mentally stressed because you know it's never gonna push out green leaves, and every day, let's say I spend 2 seconds on this plant, multiply that by, this has been like this for about 6 or 7 months, I guess. I can't remember when I propagated it. Multiply each day by 2 seconds. That's actually a lot of time. So, and it's taking up space and things like that. Gotta learn to let this one go. This one's got 1 foot in the coffin. This is I don't know, Homalomina plicata. I'm so sorry. I may actually, you know what? In my next video, I might try to rescue this by putting this in a prop box. There's another Monstera elbow that's putting out only white leaves. It's time to say goodbye. I give up on this one. Yeah. Now I've got 2 philodendron atabapoenses. I've got one downstairs that is huge. That's going to be climbing up a wall. But I guess these 2, I don't even know why I have them around. They're so beautiful though. But I think it's time to let them go. I guess this one will be gifted to the neighbors. They are really, really good to have. Like, they're very beautiful to look at from down below, but they're also very good for confidence building, you guys. They're very easy to care for. There are some Anthurium polyschistum here. They're actually supposed to be very easy to care for. These guys have been on the struggle bus for a long time. There's actually a time when actually this one might be doing okay. There was a point in time where I completely did not water this, but there's also a point of time where there was leaks coming from up above, and it rained so hard here that the water was just drenching all the plants here. So these guys were suffering quite a bit, and I guess I'm gonna let all of them go. I'm gonna just throw them away because I have some that are growing downstairs in my green wall. I've got like 2 or 3 already, and I don't think these guys will do well indoors. I mean, they could look good, but they're really fast growers. They need something to climb onto. And I actually do like having a lot of this in like in a terracotta pot, like fireworks, you know, like if you have like 7 or 8 of them grown in like a pot, but then they would quickly overgrow it. So those might be good for a few months to have around. Maybe someday I'll do that with my cuttings that I'm taking from the green wall. But these guys are not healthy, and it's not good for my mental health to be caring for them unnecessarily. So I'm gonna let these ones go. Therium radicans. These guys were also mistreated, but this one's putting out a new leaf. As you can see there, this one last leaf is doing all right, kind of. This one's put out a new leaf. But yeah, they've been on a struggle bus. They would be indoors in my previous home, but then they did nothing for a long time. So let's see, I might actually just throw the rest away and then keep those two there. I have a bigger one up front in my landscape area, so I'm not really worried about losing these. Now here's the thing, I've got way too many of these Dischidias. I love saving them. They're not very easy to grow lush and full, so they're actually a lot easier to propagate than it is to rehabilitate and rescue. A bit of wrong watering and you would lose the whole vine. This is the problem with Dischidias. They're not very forgiving. They're also slow growers. This is an interesting Dischidia, Numularia. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna combine, for these are two of the same species. I'm gonna combine them, I guess. This Hoya lacunosa, I guess this is out. I actually have a lot of these. They're very easy to propagate, but this one is not doing well, so this is going out. Back to the Dischidias. I'm losing a lot of the cuttings. Yeah, sorry, but I have to learn to let some of these go. I don't think this is gonna sprout anything. Are you? Nope, nothing. So I'm gonna let this one go. String of hearts. What am I gonna do with it? This is a plant that actually brings me joy sometimes when it's doing well, but when it's not doing well, I don't know. They're very easy to propagate, but then once they grow to a certain length here in Indonesia, they rot very easily, and mealybugs do kill them very, very quickly, very swiftly and quickly. So I struggle with these. I don't know. I guess I'm going to combine this into one pot and care for it. And then this one I think is a lost cause. This is a Hoya wayedii variegated. These guys. This is the Philodendron mame. I actually have a lot of really healthy ones of these. In fact, I posted some of these as not giveaways, but basically people could come over to the nursery and pay whatever they want for the leftover plants. We had like 4 or 5 of these left over. They're very healthy, but these guys here, they're not doing so well. So this is the mame, I guess, but then you know what, there's a chance that it might do well with the new leaf. I don't know, it just needs time, but I don't know, do I want to deal with this now? I have a lot of things that I kind of want to handle, so maybe this is going in the trash. And these here, I believe these are actually Ploumanii. I don't think these are the same, so they're not looking so good. I was counting on this new leaf to look amazing. This new leaf is coming out. Do I want to give it a chance? I mean, there's one down there. I don't know if you can see. There's already one down there, so I don't know. I don't really need this one. I really don't. But I don't know. I'm really curious to see what the new leaf looks like. Yeah, now you see my dilemma. You see what I deal with. I don't know what's wrong with this. This is probably chlorosis. It's possible, but although let me see. Do I see any? I don't see any fertilizer here. Maybe I forgot to fertilize this. So chlorosis is a condition where the plant cannot produce the chlorophyll on the leaves because it lacks nitrogen, and it might be it. Look at that, there's no slow release pellets on it at all. Normally I would have some laying around, so I may actually try to rescue this. I don't know, there's a part of me that wants to rescue everything. It brings me joy, but yeah, this is not doing well. This is looking very sick, so I'm gonna give it time. I'm gonna fertilize this. In my next video, it's going to be a very long episode on plant care and plant rehabilitation. So this is probably going to be featured in that episode. I'm going to show you how I rehab things. This is duplicate. I have one up front that is not doing well. It was indoors, but they were renovating, and these leaves, they will not handle dust well, so I brought it outside because they're very velvety. This is a Ploumanii narrow. I do need to rescue this because the ones downstairs, I plucked off the leaf by accident. So this is one of the plants that I have no backup with. When you look at the roots, it looks a bit overwatered. Looks a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it now. Today's video is gonna be about purging and what to do with plants. So back to the Dischidias, I'm gonna probably combine these into one. This is the Dischidia Oyantha variegata, very common plant, very easy to care for. Look at the baby leaf on this. How cute is that? Yeah, Borromea incana. This one's on the struggle bus. I am actually bringing in a much nicer one from the nursery, ones we cannot sell. So this one is going out. This is a string of dolphins. It's the last strand. I actually have a video on this, and I overwatered it or miscared for it. And yeah, this is the last one that we have, and the last strand. So I'm hoping to grow this out so that I can propagate it and maybe turn it into something more lush. And down here, actually, these I think are pink princesses or white princess. I can't remember, I don't label things, but there's no variegation on these. I'm gonna let this go because I do look at this, stare down at this every day in the face as I water it, and it didn't bring me any joy or confidence, so I'm gonna take this away. This ZZ plant, I can't remember if this is the Zenzi, but I don't know, it might be a bit too wet. So this spot actually gets rained on. There was a little bit of leak coming down. There's a manhole over there where a man could climb up. But yeah, this is not doing well, and I think I might have duplicates that are doing much better. So this one is going. Oh god, I don't even know what to do with this. This is the Skindapsus Silver Hero. It was lanky and I found it during the move. It was leggy and lanky, and I just propagated this into many pots. It's a habit of mine. This is not good, right? But it was an ugly plant, to be honest. So to start over by making them more lush and bushy like this, these are all single leaf cuttings, and you can see something is growing out of that. If you have a full pot of this is gonna look amazing. But do I need 3? I don't know. This is a little bit hard to find. It is a little bit more rare, and I do have to water this quite a bit. They're quite thirsty, sometimes even twice a day, because there's many cuttings in one pot. So I don't know what to do. They're not in the condition to give away because they're still so young, or to swap. So you know what, I'm gonna wait and then I'm gonna swap it with somebody else probably. Don't remember what this is. I really don't. What are you? I don't remember. Is it an expensive plant or something really cheap? I don't know. So I'm gonna grow it out and find out. There's a strawberry shake here. A very struggling strawberry shake. It's put out only variegated leaves. Only variegated, but then there's some beauty to it. There's a beauty to it. It's not healthy though. Look at it. Look at it. It's not happy. You know, you don't need to ask them. You just can tell. If only this one could talk, it'll probably say, "Kill me, kill me." This is the one leaf that we propagated with. So it's really, really sick. Well, this is what variegation is actually. Variegation is basically plants that are unhealthy. They're not producing any chlorophyll. This one is producing a tiny bit. Let's stripe down the middle. That's chlorophyll, and then that is. But this new leaf doesn't have it. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Does any of you want a strawberry shake that is completely white? Comment down below. But meanwhile, I need to make a decision on this. I kind of do. I might have to let this go. I'm gonna throw this away. But let me know what you would have done. I'm curious to see what you have done. It just saddens me in a way. I do know that this is sick. This plant is suffering. It doesn't have longevity, and I do not want this to be in the hands of other people who may have this plant suffer and not do well. So the fair thing to do is probably just let it go, end its life humanely. This one here is a peperomia. Can't remember if it's a parallel or Puteolata tetragona. I can't remember, but there's a duplicate. There's one that looks much better upstairs. This one looks like it's really, really struggling, but it is a beautiful plant and it's not easy to care for. People tend to overwater it. Even I am struggling to keep this looking amazing here. So I don't know, do I want to keep rehabbing this? Maybe I do it. Maybe someday I'll make a video out of it. I may have to increase some of the potting medium. It looks a little bit sinking. So yeah, I'm gonna probably care for this one and duplicate it because it is such a beautiful plant. I know I should probably, part of me should let this go, but it is just so special, you guys. I can't let this one go. I probably want to learn how to care for it in different conditions as well. Peperomias are known to be winter growers. So I may actually put this in my air-conditioned room where it gets medium light and lower humidity and cooler air. Yeah, this one's going. This is a Peperomia metallica. It hasn't been doing well for a while, and I think it's time to let it go. Let me get this. Let me get it. This is an Aglonema. I recently sold one that is very similar to this, and I have another one down below. Look at that one. Those two. Hello. And that one is quite okay looking. I quite like it. They're actually aglonemas that I really adore, but these guys are not it. They're not on my top of the list. I don't remember what this one is, this variety. It's beautiful if you ask me, but I have similar agglonimas already, and I do want to adopt different looks, different forms, different colorways. So I might have to let this one go at some point. Yeah, I'm gonna offer this up for a swap, I guess. Now I have 3 pink princesses here. I don't need 3. I really don't. I don't know. This one might not be a pink princess. Are you? I don't know. Here's a dilemma here. Sometimes, like, when you don't label things, you don't remember what they are. But I think judging from the leaf shape, they are. And I think they are grown from the tissue culture. And these are putting out babies after babies. Down below, look at the new leaf here. But you know what? I am probably going to let 2 of them go. Right on the spot, I'm gonna make a decision. Let these 2 go, and these are gonna be swaps. So I'm gonna offer them up for plant swaps. There's a lot of jade satin scindapsus here. This one used to be variegated, but I think I stuck all the cuttings in one, and you can see the stem, some of them are variegated, and this one's putting out a new leaf. The chances of them variegating again is very slim, but it is there. And this is another one, but it is putting out only green. Yeah, I need to learn to let these go. Look how beautiful this is though, just the green. Beautiful. I don't know if these are the same. I think this is also the same, this jade satin. So I don't know what to do with so many of these. I have some that are trailing. I may combine it with my trailing pot actually. I have some trailing over there. All right, so we're gonna do an episode here at some point, but this is where the plants are trailing down, cascading down towards the living room. This is messy now, don't judge me yet. But I just basically moved here and just threw everything down here, but there's already one of the scindapsus. Oh my god, it's so dusty. I feel bad for them. Yeah, I'm just gonna combine this into one large pot and let them trail down. I'm gonna increase the pot size, of course. Now here's a scindapsus tricolor. And this is a plant that really loves to climb. They really thrive when you let them climb. But when you try to let them trail, they put out endless runners. And look at how miserable these little leaves look like. They look really sad. I had them in a fuller pot before. Look at them, they're not doing well. They really hate, look at all these runners. They really hate being in this situation. So this is one of the scindapsus that has really gorgeous foliage. It's definitely got this amazing tricolor on them, but they need to climb up. They need to climb up something. You cannot let them trail. So unlike the popular scindapsus, like the Epictetus exotica, where we grow them in full pots, this one is one that is not gonna enjoy that. And I think it's not really good for me to keep this around. It is scraggly, it's long, and I really don't have time to propagate it now. I normally would have rescued it, take single node cuttings, but I don't even know where to put it. I already have that one that's doing well. I may actually move it to the green wall because I have a feeling that they will actually really enjoy climbing up that wall. See that? Yeah, that's where they would want to be. They don't want to be in pots, in full pots like this. So yeah, I'm gonna let this one go because this is not doing so well here. It's not good for me to look at it every day and to water it and try to save it, even though I know that there's no saving. We're not gonna talk about Hoya today because it is a mess. I'm a Hoya mess. So these are some of the Hoyas that are brought here, and there's a row of Hoyas, and I can't really get to it. I have to really climb a ladder from down below. This is around 4 meters from the ground. And then there's some more over there. There's a variegated. Some Hoyas are doing well. Some of them are not doing well. So I do need to climb up here and take them out. I don't particularly like them like this because I don't know if they're overwatered or underwatered here. I can't check on each of them and I cannot enjoy them. I'm feeling that one there, that's too close to the light, is shriveling up. I need to save it at some point. So we're not gonna talk about Hoya today, but what I'm saying is that there are a lot of duplicates for Hoyas. That's what makes it very confusing, and I don't want any more duplicates. I think that one, I can't remember, it's a Wyattii or a Shepherdii, that one there. And I think this one that we filmed earlier, that one is also one. So I may actually try to combine it into a full lush pot, but it's a Kentiana actually. I don't know what this one is then. If that's a Kentiana, I don't know what this one is. I have been not labeling and not caring for my Hoyas correctly. I'm so sorry. I have too many things to handle and I've not seen them flower in a while, so I can't say that they are happy or bovada. So I can't say that they're very happy, but I really want to change my ways because I have so many plants. I've been caring for all those weird, sick plants that has no hope, that I neglected on the plants that actually matter. Like, what is this? What is behind this? I don't even remember. It's gotta go though, it's gotta go. This is not good for me to have this around. Syngonium erythrophilus. There, yeah, this is my Syngonium section over here. Anthuriums. What am I gonna do about anthuriums? I have a lot of them. Some of them are hybrid. This is a Forgetii X crystallinum. It does look a little bit more like a crystallinum. But I have a lot of anthuriums. This is the Moronense. This is the clavigerum. I might have a duplicate downstairs. An SP limon. This is a cutting. It's rooted really, really well in here. I already have one on my green wall that's doing well. This is a pterodactyl. This is doing quite all right. This is from Potera Plants. Thank you so much for gifting me this. There are other ones. These I grew from seedling. This one is not doing so hot, but then they're the same species. So I've got a lot of anthuriums that were gifted by people. This is a Clarinervium. This is my duplicate. I have one on my green wall somewhere down there. This is a duplicate. I quite like it in the pot. I don't know. I should not have this around. I really shouldn't. But I don't know what to do with them. Some of them were gifted. There's an anthurium. Here's another one. I can't remember what this one is even. I really don't remember. There is an anthurium craze now. This is a Villanerum. I think this is a keeper for me, for sure. I really love the way it looks. There's one back there. I don't remember who you are. It's got long, narrow leaves. It must be a Forgetii hybrid of some sort. Let me see if I... It came from a plant date, a plant swap. This is Anthurium papillilaminum hybrid. It's doing okay. It's very yellow though. It might have been chlorosis. Yeah, a lot of plants here have not been fertilized in the last 3 to 4 months. I don't see any fertilizer pellets here, and the leaves have lost some of its green. I badly need to fertilize my plants. And it is also possible that there's too much light. Way up here, hang on. I'm trying to put you back. There's too many light possibly here because it's getting really, really bright indirect light. Up here, and then there's an Anthurium Forgetii putting out a new leaf. This was struggling for so long because I kept overwatering it, so then I moved it here and it's happy now. There's a craze for Anthurium, I was going to say earlier. These days, and people rush to them, getting them, collecting them, and they're fetching a good price now, but I don't know how long that's going to last. To be honest, there's so many hybrids. This is Ace of Spades. A lot of my Anthuriums kept coming back to life because in my old previous home, I kept overwatering them. They were sitting out in rain, so I could not control how much water they were getting, but now they're doing a lot better. Actually, in this new home, I've been able to control their watering and they're doing significantly better. I think some of these look a little bit under fertilized. Yeah. These are more Anthuriums. This is gifted by Eddie Pranoto. This is a Luxurians X papillilaminum. This is one that says that it's a hybrid cobra with very nice variegation. This one is the King of Spades. I bought this as a larger plant, but it died off and now it's small again. Then there are so many Anthuriums. Honestly, like I love them. I love all plants, but do I need so many hybrids? This is a crystallinum hybrid from Potera Plants. Do I need so many hybrids that I can't even keep track of the names and things like that? Do I have the space for everybody? I don't remember what this is. I really don't. It's probably a silver blush hybrid. There's the clavigerum. This is a duplicate. I really love this shape of this plant. I have one on my green wall already, but this is a duplicate. I'm gonna hang on to these for a while because they're still worth something now. They're quite sought after. So I may actually do a swap for some of these later on. So yeah, we're not gonna be purging any Anthurium in this episode. Some of them are still kind of rehabbing a bit. They're not in the perfect shape. Of course, the ones gifted by legendary Eddie Pranoto, please do check out his Instagram. He's a legendary hybridizer here. These guys I'm gonna keep for my life. I think this is a Besae AFF. I don't know, from Equigenera. I didn't label it, but it was really struggling in my old house and I moved it here and I still haven't rehabbed this guy. It's stressing me out a bit. I don't have the time for it, but I should. So yeah, Anthuriums, it's a weird time now. There's just too many of them coming to the market too suddenly, too many varieties. and we are stressed out thinking that we want to collect all of them, but we shouldn't. It should be peaceful, it should be mindful. So I need to learn to let some of these go on, but they're not in the condition where I can let them go yet. Look at this, I can't. I don't even know what this is, and it's not out of the struggle bus yet. Now there are these beautiful, beautiful Schismatoglotis. I propagated these, and this one looks like it really loves to be in the moss. It's been living in moss for, it's like this. These are cuttings. This is a larger cutting that didn't do as well. They do dry up quite a bit, and this one in terracotta pot, my goodness, it's not happy here. I think it's maybe drying out a little bit too fast for it. This is a plant that really loves humidity. It's a deep forest type plant, and I have so many duplicates. I don't know, but for this plant, this is so beautiful, and it's not easy to come by. This is endemic to Indonesia, if I'm not wrong. I really want to master this, so I may actually grow one of them in a cloche, like in a closed terrarium, and see how they do, and try different mediums. So this is going to be in one of my videos at some point in the future, probably. Now this is weird. This is an Apoballus. The parent plant is somewhere over here. This one. It is very thirsty, you guys. It's a very thirsty plant. If I'm not wrong, it's an aeroid. It's growing like an aeroid, but it has been struggling for a long time. So I need to kind of master this. This is quite interesting. It looks like a Scindapsus, but it does have a growth habit that is more similar to like a philodendron or even a Syngonium. So I'm going to try to master this. I'm going to keep both of these around. Now this one, I have one downstairs that is doing really well, and I have a lot that were unsold. I think I have 2 videos on how to propagate these, and I show you how to do it in an extreme fashion. You can actually turn this into many plants, and I absolutely can. I can actually turn this into many plants, but I don't think I want to. I don't have the space for it. I've already mastered the care for it. It is a beautiful plant, but I think keeping one is enough. Now this is another Peperomia argyria, but then this is different. The variegation is reverse, if you know what I mean. So I don't know what's up with this. I haven't seen this around since I got it, but it's kind of struggling. It's not growing as fast as the other Peperomia argyria. It could be because it's got less chlorophyll. So it's grown very, very slowly for me. It may also have suffered root rot at some point, but this is one that I'm going to keep because I would really am interested in the different form of it. Philodendron fabricatifilum. Look at that one. This is sad. I've got a few of them already. They're growing well on the green wall. I've got 2 or 3 of these, so I'm gonna let these go. Yeah, they were just sad to look at and to care for. But this one, this is doing all right. This is a survivor. I probably need to fertilize this. I don't think I've fertilized since I propagated this maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I can't remember. Actually, maybe a little bit less than that. They're very fast to propagate, but I may have to fertilize and care for it a bit. And then, I don't think this is gonna be up for a swap. Do people still want to swap this? These are easy to come by. Maybe I will. I will offer this up for a swap. I may have a chance to get some cool plants out of it. So price for me doesn't really matter. For those of you who are swapping with me, I'm not looking at plants by their price, but rather like if a plant is interesting, it's beautiful to me, or it's one that I have not grown before and I wanted to learn, that's a plant that I want to swap with you. I don't care about the price. All right, Philodendron Birkins. Who wants some Philodendron Birkins? They're kind of everywhere now, and people are not really collecting them anymore, but they are beautiful. Look at the little leaf here. But I'm watering this every day. I'm caring for it every single day. I don't know if I want to anymore. Look at that new growth point coming out of here. But here's the thing, if I gifted this to one of my neighbors, they would be very puzzled. They'll be like, what is going on here? Like, what is this? They might overwater it, they may not care for it correctly because they don't know. But then this is also one that I can't really swap because a lot of people already have them. I would say that this has become from a collector's item into one that is for landscaping, one that is a very common, which is what all the rare plants are going to be eventually. But this is very quickly becoming that. But I love having this around, and I really do. But I don't have the space for so many. There's one grown in my front yard already under some larger plants. So I don't know, man. I may actually keep just this one. The others, I think I'm gonna throw them away. Yeah, gotta learn to let go. Sometimes it probably would feel good when I chuck this into the bin. Of course, I'm gonna reuse the moss. The moss is perfectly fine. I can use it for something else. Yeah, letting them go would actually feel really good, really satisfying. It will feel like a huge burden has been lifted off of me. Moving on up, this is the guest bedroom. I do have some plants here. They actually lived on that shelf up there, so I haven't had pictures up yet. and the light is off, but yeah, it'll look nicer in the future. But anyways, these guys, I just put it by the window here. This is rooted really well. The Syngoniums make really good water, not even propagation. I don't intend to propagate this, I just want to hoard it. I just want to have many of these. These are basically reverted Syngonium variegated that's turned into green. I think this is also Chloroxys. It's lacking nitrogen, and being in water did not help because there's no nutrients here. I don't know how I feel about it. I may actually add some nutrients and let it live in water, because I do like to have something live in water, although I have so many other cuttings that I could have put here. But yeah, I'm gonna decide later, but I may actually put some variegated, hang on, the variegated ones cannot survive here. This is too low light for it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the green Syngonium. Sorry for going back and forth, but I'm just walking through what's going on in my head, saying it out loud. So this fern, beautiful fern, but I have about 20 or 30 of these because they propagate really easily. They actually put out baby fronds at the tip of the leaves, little baby, I don't know, stolons, if you could call it that. And then you could propagate it. You could take it off, or you could just stick it into soil and it'll grow. It's so easy to propagate. This is trying to put out a new growth. It's so easy to propagate that I have so many of them, and I sold a few, but I couldn't sell most of it. This is my third one here in this house. Is the smallest one. I've got a large one living downstairs. I've got a medium one living in my living room. So this one's gotta go. This one's probably going to my neighbors. This is a beautiful fern, and it's very easy, forgiving. If you know the name, please do comment it, because I could not find out for the life of me. But it's beautiful. This is actually considered a small specimen, although the baby ones look so cool. It looked so cute when it was a baby. My goodness, and it's just beautiful. I love watching ferns put out new fronds after fronds. And this is a very easy fern, much easier than the Boston fern if you ask me. We are upstairs in my bathroom. This is Peperomia clucifolia. I love this little pot that it's in. Look at that, how cute is that? And it's put out roots, and it's got babies too. Look at that. It's put out baby leaves. I don't know if you can see. Now let me pull one out, for example. They're kind of entangled into each other. This one. See, this is how you propagate them. You can just take per leaf cutting. This one is a leaf with a node actually, but you can take just a leaf. I'm making a mess there. This is actually very, very cute. But here's the problem with this. I was rescuing this. I brought a pot from my nursery to my home because I wanted to have a full pot of it, and it died. It was rotten by southern blight fungus very quickly within a week. So I managed to take some of the top cutting, which was already not doing well. The top cutting was already wrinkly. It was like, it's got 1 foot in the coffin already, basically. So I cut it off, and then I propagated this in water, I think about, I don't know, 8 or 9 weeks ago, because that's how long I've been moved here. And then it put out this. But here's the problem. I actually managed to take another pot from the nursery, and it's doing really well. So I've got a nice full pot of this downstairs. Do I need this? Look at the leaves. The leaves are very dusty from the renovation, shriveled up. It is going to survive though. But here's the thing, I cannot give this to somebody. I cannot just like, yeah, just give it to someone, like, or pot it up, because this needs special care at this time. So I'm gonna just have to let this one go. Let this go, and it's gonna feel really good when I let it go, because it's taking up space, even though I don't really have to care for it much. But it is clutter, so I'm gonna let this one go. These used to be variegated, as you can see from the leaf here. And I have another one. This was also variegated. It was variegated in the bottom nodes. I don't know, I'm trying to find if there are any variegation left on the stem. I keep cutting this up. This was my most expensive. That one has a bit of variegation. I don't know if you look at the stem there, in the middle of the screen, there's some variegation there. This plant has given me so much trouble. I love the variegated Adansonii, but I must have gotten one that wasn't a good genetic. I must have gotten one that was really bad, because I keep propagating it, and it would put out maybe 1 or 2 variegated leaf, and it will just put out all green leaves like this. So I give it very bright light, give it good conditions, but it's still doing this. So, and I've cut many, by the way. I have a lot of all green ones that are coming from this that I have thrown away. So these are some of the remaining ones. I don't even know if I want to continue struggling with this plant. This was one of my most expensive purchases, and I have a video on this if you want to watch it. So I don't know if I want to give this another chance or not. I really don't. Sorry, I need to make split-minute decisions. I think I'm gonna cut it up. Yeah, this is probably gonna need my rescue section. This is going away though. This is not. I don't think this is gonna do anything. This is all green, but those two I think are still. I'm not giving up yet. I'm still gonna continue fighting for it. Now this room here, this is frankly speaking a mess. Where do I even begin? This needs to go. This is a Anthurium pterodactyl that's rotted off. This is a euphorbia. I cannot remember the name, but it's been on the struggle bus for a long time. I don't know if it's, let me see, let me give it a tug, but it's so ugly now. This is actually a very common plant. It's seen better light of day for sure. So this one's gotta go. I don't think I managed to save it well. I might have some lower cuttings that did well. Maybe they're downstairs and outside, so I'm gonna check on that later. So I just wanna give you an honest view of my workspace here. Yeah, this is just too much clutter, right? So a lot of these have to go. And this one is this is not supposed to be, this is a peperomia. Actually, it's a weed around here, but this is a ZZ, and I believe this is the Zenzi. I could be wrong. There are a few pots of these. There's one right there. There's a ZZ Zenzi. It hasn't put out a new leaf in a long time. So what I might do is in my next video, I will probably just combine these into one pot and maybe care for it better. This one's new leaf is unfurling though. I don't know if I want to repot it while the new leaf is unfurling. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna consolidate it into one pot. And this is the peperomia. Which one is this? The string of turtles, the peperomia. Oh my gosh, okay, I know what this is. I definitely know what this is. Peperomia. What is this? Trying to remember, and okay, so I googled and it's Peperomia prostrata. And this is the original plant. It just keeps dying back, and it does okay. It trails a little bit and it just dies back again. As you can see here, it's not happy in this terracotta, and this is moss condition. I've actually taken some of the cuttings and planted it in here, and look at how well it's doing in there. This is actually like a little teeny tiny terrarium here, and it's doing happily here. And I just kept this one because I thought I wanted to study, I wanted to make sure, figure out how to let it live, how to make it thrive. But I gotta take care of myself first, so this one's gotta go. I think one thing that I could have done is just cut the top off and just plant it in there. But I don't think I'm even gonna do that. This is pretty sad looking. This actually, if I could put some little accessories in there, like a little gnome or a little animal in there, it would be really cute. So I'm gonna keep it in here, the Peperomia prostrata. Look at how happy it is. So they hate water, they love it very bright. It's a bit sun stressing, in case you can see from the little red spots the little turtles are putting out. It's getting very good light. Look at up here. It's bright indirect, but it's very, very strong bright indirect light. And then it does not like to be watered at all. Like, it doesn't need a lot of water. I just watered this morning, so I squirt a small amount of water around this glass because I remember one time I overwatered it a bit and it did not forgive me. So this plant is actually very difficult to grow in a humid tropical climate. They really, really hate water. This baby Sansevieria, it's rotting again. I rescued it many times. It used to be a lot bigger and it just gets smaller and smaller. I remember repotting this about 6 or 7 weeks ago before the renovation. Right when I moved here, repotted it thinking that, you know, I'm gonna save you. But I don't think it's happy here. I mean, there's a chance that this will survive if I really keep an eye out for it, if I really checked on it and make sure it's completely dry between watering. I do water this almost every day because it's living in cacti potting mix and terracotta. So I don't know, maybe it was already weak and dying before. I mean, new growth is coming up from the middle, but I think something like this, I gotta just let go. It will make me feel a lot better to let go. Now this Hoya, I believe this is the coronaria. It's looking cute in this little pot. It's been living in this pot for about almost 2 years, I would say. And it did not thrive, actually it died back. It died back a little bit and put out a new vine. So it was not happy. Let me see, is this past? Let me try to think. Nope, it's not moving. I don't think it's past, but let me look under here. There's something here. Something's not normal, but this is not past. Yeah, this is not it. But anyway, so this has grown a new vine and it's so happy here. It grew like, I think 3 sets of leaves while it was here, or 4, I can't remember. It's doing really well and it looks cute like this. But the only problem is there's another one outside. I don't actually know the health of the other one that's outside. It looks a little bit unhappy maybe, I don't know. Is it? But I'm gonna climb up there. I'm gonna do maybe a Hoya rescue video. I'm gonna consolidate my Hoyas. So this might actually go there in that pot. But yeah, that's probably what, because I don't want to have so many of these lying around. If every Hoya has a duplicate both inside and outside, I would not have any space for anything else. So I have all these cacti. I've actually never talked a lot about my cacti, but these are the survivors because I'm an overwaterer. And this one is so pretty. It's got really good memories around it because I got this in Bangkok about 2 years ago. So maybe I do just need to repot this in my next video, give it a nicer pot because I have many cute pots that a lot of them I'm actually throwing away. And yeah, let it grow out. Same as this one here. This one is grown into a clump. And I just need to give it like a nice terracotta pot. And maybe it'll grow even bigger because it's like just kind of struggling now, isn't it? Sometimes I overwater it, but also I think it's just too much of a clump here. They need more space probably to grow. And what do you call this? In a plastic pot like this, it's easy to overwater them. This is actually a fairy castle cactus. It was a lot bigger. I rotted the whole mother plant off. So I have just taken some of the baby pups. This one in the middle of the screen, this one looks like it's a winner. I don't know if it's gonna focus. It looks like it's a winner because a lot of the little babies have rotted off. And look at the little offsets it's trying to put out. How cute is that? They can get massive, by the way. So I'm gonna give this a smaller pot perhaps because it's taking up too much space here. This is a cute Kalanchoe. I don't know if I'm looking around. I may have one that's bigger outside. I see this is the problem with hoarding. I have duplicates, but I don't even know where they are. But the problem with this might be that they are very full in one pot. So the leaves are actually supposed to be a lot bigger than this, but maybe they're very constricted with their roots area. That's why they have smaller leaves. They're scraggly like this. So I may actually want to take a cutting and have them grown separately. And maybe it's just one or two vines, maybe 3. Sorry, don't do 2, do like 3 if possible. And look at all aerial roots is put. Sorry, these aerial roots are from, yeah, this is from this Kalanchoe. How cute is that? Let's put out aerial roots. I did not know that they do that. Huh. This is another one that's super cute. This Kalanchoe. I'm gonna keep this one. Fuzzy leaves, very fuzzy, and there's some babies that I stuck down below. This one's the Kalanchoe, I think mother of thousands or whatever they're called. They're interesting. They're very beautiful to look at. They're some of the most forgiving plants you can care for, nice succulents, but they keep putting out these babies. And the babies appear everywhere. Look at that. They appear everywhere in every single pot. So sometimes what I do is I just take off the babies and just throw them away because I don't want them to just reproduce uncontrollably. But this one is all right. I believe it looks nice when it's like big and like, I don't know, it just looks amazing. But I do have another one here. Let me bring it over. I do have another one here with chubbier leaves, and I have some outside. Again, I don't know which ones I have duplicates, but honestly this is a plant that I do enjoy when I look at it, but it's not one that brings me a tremendous amount of joy, but it does put out all these babies. See, it should be illegal to sell these because they should be free of charge. They should be gift plants. Purchase over how much and you'll get like babies, and the babies will grow in no time at all. So beautiful plant. A little bit gives me anxiety with all these babies sometimes. With someone with self-diagnosed ADD, this is probably not a good thing to have around. But I'm gonna keep these 2 around for now. I don't know, I guess. And then I'm gonna just pluck off the babies and then let them grow out bigger. Yeah. Oh, Hadiora. This is actually cute. Stinking cute. They look really nice when they're in a small pot. Imagine like small pots with like full of these. We did sell quite a lot of this, and we don't sell it at a high price by any means. It's a cheap plant, but imagine like 10 of these little cuttings stuck in a pot. Super cute. They look like coral reefs. But I am kind of like that basically, right? Like the little short, like that. But imagine a full pot of it. I actually have a large one back there. It's trailing down. It trails down really beautifully. This is a kind of a jungle cacti, and it does get woody over time, and it's impossible to propagate these woody stems. But these on top, they're easy to propagate. You can just cut off any portion and stick it in either water or straight into soil. Sorry, I'm like oversharing, but this is really, really pretty, but I don't think I have the space for it anymore. I really don't, considering that I have that big one down there, and I may be able to take cuttings off that whenever I need it. I might do a video on this. So I'm gonna let this one go. Yeah, so about that kalanchoe, I do have one living outside, although I'm not sure if it's the same exact species as the one downstairs. I think it is. It's the same as the smaller pot. So I may let that one go. Look at all the babies that are growing down below. It's insane. ZZ plants. I've got too many ZZ plants around. I've got one upstairs. It's kind of struggling because I moved it into a lower light space very, very suddenly. I think it did not like that. This one, I might actually, I mean, it's not doing so well, but I think some neighbors would appreciate having this. So yeah, I might give this one off to the neighbors. Look at this African violet. Sorry, it just got rained on. That's why the flowers are a little bit droopy. But I actually have two of these. This is the smaller one, and it flowered more profusely than the other. The other one is upstairs on my balcony. I don't know, I should let one go, but my goodness, this is just such an underrated houseplant. They do bloom well indoors, and the variegated ones of these are amazing. This is the only African violet that I have, but I do want to get more at some point. Look at how beautiful and fuzzy the leaves are. I don't have the heart to give this away or to swap it or to throw it because it's just so beautiful. It was sitting on that desk for about 2 weeks when I was styling my place, and that was when it started flowering. These guys actually do flower well indoors. Now in the upper hemisphere, I believe you guys said to never let this dry out. But in my condition, I believe that these guys do need to dry out quite a bit between watering because they can rot very, very easily. And you do need to water them down on the soil level. They really don't appreciate having their leaves wet. So yeah, I don't know why I even showed this plant because I plan to keep this one, I think both of them. There is a Schismatoglotis tucked under here, and it's been here for a while. I haven't even checked on it. This is a very spider mite prone, and it's not doing so well. I think it's getting too low light, but I have one here that I have grounded in my backyard that is doing really well. So I'm going to be letting this one go, and I don't think this is in a condition to give, so I'm just gonna chuck this away. And then there's a little fern, sorry, it stole my, oh my god, sorry, there's like a peperomia Algeria here. It's doing really well, so I might keep this one actually. It looks so happy here. And then look at this new frond. I was so distracted by it. How cute is this? I have multiples of these. Some of them are in my green wall. And this one is just so happy out here. It's actually in a plastic pot in moss, so it's getting a lot of water. But it does need a lot more light, so it's not going to be happy back there under so many plants. I'm going to stick it out just a little bit more. So here's what we separated. This is going to be swapped with other people. I'm going to be posting it up soon on my Instagram. This one too. This is a Sharonii. Then those two, and the Fibrocatophyllum, and that Aglonema. These guys, they're going to my neighbors. I'm going to be giving them away. So far I've been doing some giveaways, just letting people pick up the plants on the curbside, and they love it. And I hope that I have given them pretty easy plants so that they can build some confidence, because most of them have never kept a plant alive in their whole lives. So I hope to help them build that confidence. All right, and a bit of update. So when I moved here, I asked for permission to turn the top of the carport here into a garden, but they did not reply my email because as a new housing development, you're not supposed to change the facade or the outside of your house. We want everybody to look kind of uniform and consistent, but we had a meeting with the neighbors and a lot of people have actually done this, so I decided to go ahead and do this. So there's going to be room for plants over here. And then I actually brought more from my nursery. Look at that. I brought more plants back, and some of them are duplicates, but some of them are not. That's that Peperomia clusifolia that I brought back. Look at how healthy and lush that is. So yeah, I'm gonna have these babies. I'm gonna style them around a bit. I know that this is not really helping with my hoarding habits. And these are some of the plants that were sitting in the backyard, but then because we are renovating the back as well, to find the leak, sorry, not to make things look prettier. Things were already looking really nice before, but there were many leaks. So these guys are going back there soon, maybe today or tomorrow. And yeah, I know that in this video we saw a lot of really sick plants that are not looking good. But there are many cool plants here that are doing really well. This variegated fiddleleaf just put out a new leaf, and it's got like new vines coming out. This one's a new vine, and this one's a new vine too. There are a lot of plants that are doing really well, and I can't wait to vlog about them and dedicate more time to them, because just that little bit more effort to care for them will give them a lot of benefits, you know. And I will start enjoying plant care a little bit more. I will start noticing these little new leaves that come out. So I may actually declutter a little bit more. I probably am gonna start selecting a bit more, because it did feel good in this experience to let go of some plants. So, but I'm gonna stop this video here because I can't do this forever, and I gotta start editing this video. I gotta start rehabbing my plants for the next episode. Look at how dirty this is. So stay tuned next week. It's gonna be a very long video on cleaning, rehabilitating, styling, repotting. There's gonna be a lot of root porn in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye bye.